Hollywood may not be the town you think it is. At least that's what we learned from director Kathleen Robertson, who's directing the new series Swimming with Sharks. She talks about her own past in Hollywood and what really makes it a place that you need to worry about. Kathleen, why did you stick with this so long? What was it that you said, I've got to do this?
I know, I must be crazy. I mean, it's honestly, I've worked harder to get this to the finish line than pretty much anything. I think it's just like, you hear stories about like, it seems like this is part of, this was particularly challenging because we had, a global pandemic, and we had Quibi, the platform, folding, and, it was thing after thing after thing after thing. But I just really, I just really believed in it, and I believed in the story, and I believed in the two women at its core, and never say die.
When you were acting, did you see this? Did you see this kind of behavior? Did you see this? I'm sure it's a different approach with actors than it is with writers and directors.
For
right?
sure. For sure. Actors are totally protected and shielded and treated like, glass Royal Dalton figurines that nobody wants to touch because they're scared they'll break. So yeah, acting, you're sheltered from it. But my husband, who's also the producer of this, Chris Coles, he was an executive for many, many years. When we met, he was working for Scott Rudin. So my inroads and my sort of exposure to this side of the business was always like front row, kind of seeing it as it was playing out in real time. So, and I've been in the industry since I was 10. I started acting, as a kid, and this has always been my world. I have my 10,000 hours in this space. So it really felt kind of natural for me to explore it and blow it open a little bit. A lot of the stories are really personal for me and firsthand. And yeah.
Is it still this way as a writer director, or is it a different kind of do you see a different side now?
Well, I think that things have definitely gotten, of course, better, thankfully. I mean, as I was writing this, it was kind of during Harvey and, all of the sort of, Me Too, and things were sort of really changing in the industry. And I think that definitely it's very different now, especially for women, than it ever was when I was starting out. And, Kiernan Shipka, who plays Lou, her and I would talk, and I would tell her stories about, when I first started in the industry, when I was, first moved to Los Angeles. The first job I did was Beverly Hills 90210. I was 19. And the stuff that I kind of saw and experienced throughout the years, I don't think that stuff could happen anymore. Thankfully, I think that people know that they're not allowed to do those kinds of things anymore. So Donald Sutherland's character in the piece really sort of represents the old guard and the sort of, hopefully, like the dissolution of like that part of the industry, which does feel like it's kind of coming to an end. Like it just doesn't feel like you can really get away with that stuff anymore, thankfully.
What I love though is that you have a woman who's being very kind of vile in all of this, and she's, and I think I've met some of those women, to be honest with you, where they are, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Why would a person stay as an assistant or an intern? Do they really think that they can move up? Because I see that where they treat them worse than anybody, and they really don't want them to move up.
Yeah, well, there's a line in the series where Ross Butler says, proximity to greatness can be intoxicating. And I think that says it all. I mean, I think that there's thousands of kids that arrive in Hollywood every day that are just dying for proximity, whether it's as an actor or writer, an assistant, an intern. Hollywood is just, it's the place where everybody still goes to reinvent themselves and to sort of find that magic. So yeah, I think they absolutely believe it. And there are those stories, you hear about people who start out dirt bottom entry level and rise to become,
A
CEOs.
superstar.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it
What is
happens.
your advice though to those young people? Because we have them all the time who say, I want to go to Hollywood and I want to be famous. Well, fame isn't a career path, but what do
No,
you say to those people?
I say, I mean, I was one of those people. So it's hard for me to, I have a 13-year-old and my son is just starting to sort of think about his future. And, I think that if it's what you desperately want and there's nothing else that you can imagine yourself doing, and you're coming at it from a place of love, not a place of sort of, like you said, like, if it's about fame, I mean, God, I would say hell no, like, don't even think about it. But if it comes from a place of like, I want to be a storyteller, or I want to try to affect change, or I want to do something that feels like it has value, then yeah, absolutely. Go for
it, right?
Go for it.
And you
Yeah.
start thinking about season 2?
I want season 2. So I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping, people like it and watch it. And yeah, I definitely would love to do multiple seasons of this.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you so much.